On this week's episode, we are bringing you a flair with What Are We Into Lately?
The long edit. We usually do probably one of these a year, and we give you a little flavor of what's going on in our lives.
And we're excited, so stick around.
Hello, and welcome to Rare with Flair.
The podcast where two best friends with the same rare disease are just out here living our best lives, and I'm your host, Casey.
And I'm your host, Cassandra. I'm so excited. Okay, guys, we've actually been looking forward to this episode for like a month.
We have. We love this episode.
We love this episode.
We could turn off our brains.
It's so nice. And it's just exciting because we feel like we get to let you into things that we're doing that we're excited about that I feel like take more time a lot of the time than like our little small talk opening segment.
Right. We randomly have a lot of things to discuss today, we're excited. And this is a time not only for us to turn our brains off a bit, but for you, the listener, to turn your brain off a bit. You know, it's kind of a chill time. You don't have to think about heavy subject matter. We can talk about silly things on this pod. This is your typical Flair episode, and we love making it.
Ooh, it's so exciting. So before we get in, anything smallish that you would like to talk about, or do you just want to like dive in?
You know, I don't have much outside of this list, because since this list is normally what our small talk kind of entails. Do you have anything?
Small talk.
Yeah, it's a long form of our small talk. Do you have anything though before we hop in?
I don't know. It's been raining a ton. And now
it's been raining a ton here too.
Today was the first day in like a week that it didn't rain.
Oh, lovely.
So it was really nice. Went out for a little walk right before sitting down to record this ep. So I feel ready.
Well, I have good news for you about the rain.
What?
We're about to go to a place that hardly ever rains.
I don't know if that's true.
Does it not?
It missed a lot in San Francisco.
Oh, well,
we're going to San Francisco.
We're going to San Francisco. I've never been to San Francisco. I just think California, no rain, but that's actually not true at all because California is large.
No. So I think
California's always in a drought, or is
it's
that just
always
like
in a
LA
drought
area?
So like San Francisco is like chillier because it's on water.
Yes. Okay.
So that I think that's but like if you go a little bit outside of San Francisco, it's like a desert. So you're kind of right.
We'll have less rain than we do in Tennessee and Ohio, and we're excited for that.
Yes.
And we will be doing a whole episode about that when we return.
Ooh,
we are going for a conference, and we will tell you all about it.
It will be the next episode. Right?
Yeah, the next episode.
It will be the next episode. Ooh, I'm so excited. Yes, so we are going to the American Thoracic Society conference. I think the week this episode comes out. Oh my gosh, I don't know if you can hear that. My dog.
No, you're right.
Deciding
I can't hear anything.
Roll around and play. Okay.
No, not a thing. But yes, we're going the week this episode comes out, and we will be that episode will come out the next time.
Yeah, 2 weeks after this one.
2 weeks after that.
That's how our pod works.
2 weeks after this one. That's how this works. Anyway, but we can because this is our typical small talk, we can skip the small talk and just jump right into business.
Okay.
We each, how many things do you have on your list? I have
9.
I have about 8 or 9 too, so perfect. Do you want to go first?
So, actually, this is kind of a huge life change for me, you guys, but it's good. So, as of April, I am officially working full-time in the office.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Thank you. It's a pretty big deal.
It is a pretty big deal.
So for context, I have been working at the firm that I work for almost 6 years. So since I graduated from college in 2019, I work at JP Morgan, and when I first started, it was like this, right? You would go into work every day. So since I work in the tech space, like it wasn't uncommon for periodically people to work remotely. If like they had someone coming to do maintenance on their house and they needed to be home for some reason, or their kid was sick. Sometimes it happened, but it wasn't the norm. So pretty much every day when I started working, I just would go into work like a normal person. And then 6 months after I started my job, COVID. So for the majority of my adult career life, I have either worked part or full-time remotely. And a lot of that has been like part-time remote, so like hybrid, where like I would go in 1 to 3 days a week depending on the time, and then I would work the rest of the week from home. But I think a lot of jobs are asking people to come in full-time, and you know what? I don't hate it. It's a hot take because I think a lot of people are really really mad about having to come in 5 days a week.
Yeah.
There are pros and cons. There are
Sure.
like you as a full-time remote worker can attest.
Oh yeah. Oh,
there are pros and cons.
There are sometimes I wish, like I've had people who work in the office full time tell me, "Oh, you're so lucky," and like there are great things about it, but there are sometimes I wish I would be going in. So like I get it.
It's nice. So like I live by myself, me and Romana, my retired guide dog. But yeah, I live alone and I'm an extrovert. So I actually kind of like having to leave my house every day and being able to go somewhere, feel productive, talk to people, look cute. All of these things are exciting to me about like going into the office. And like I work in a huge huge corporate office building. And there's always like some little event going on, or some, you know, they even have like local businesses come in and sell like food. It's really neat, and I feel like I took that for granted when I was a remote worker and even a hybrid worker. I didn't really pay that much attention to what was going on in the office, but like it's kind of fun. I do miss the flexibility of like being able to, you know, because some days are slower than others where like I can do my dishes between the Zoom call, or I can start a load of laundry.
That's what I like.
That's like the key of remote work that makes it super convenient. But
yeah, I do enjoy that.
You know, I think I knew from the beginning of the year that this transition was coming, and it finally came in like April, and I think slowly mentally adjusting to that knowledge, I started being less productive at home.
Yeah.
So it's weird because now I feel like I need to be in the office to actually get some like quality work done.
Wow. No, that makes a lot of sense actually.
But it's a good time. It's overall fun, and I don't we are also a little bit flexible about like exactly when we come in and when we leave, but you know, as long as we're getting our work done and as long as we're there for like a significant portion of the day, it counts, right? So like, you know, it's a different lifestyle, but it feels nice.
I like it. I like that for you. I think it's exciting. I think it's a nice like routine, and we like routine. And like you said, you're extroverted. It's a nice way to get out. It's a nice way to look cute. That's what I'm jealous of, is I want to wear my cute clothes like somewhere.
I wear my clothes so much more often now.
Yeah, I wish I could. That's why I enjoy like the volunteer stuff I do, but still it's not as much as an everyday job.
Right,
so that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun. I love that for you. So that's exciting. You'll have to keep us updated on the pod about that. So my first thing, I'm going to talk about a few books that I've been reading and enjoying lately. Of course, there are plenty, but I've narrowed it down to 2 to talk about. The first one, I'm currently reading on my Kindle, Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. So this
Hunger
is
Games.
one of the Hunger Games prequels. So, okay, here's my story with the Hunger Games. Not to be a hipster, but like I read the Hunger Games, you know, the original book when it first came out. I read Catching Fire on release day. I got Mockingjay on release day.
When did
I was in high school.
get released?
I was in high school, but I can't say. I think my senior year was Mockingjay.
Okay. And you
Like,
graduated
yeah.
in 2010, 2011? 2011?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just like trying to see. I think I started reading them when they were popular. But
Yeah. So anyway, I was a Hunger Games fan. I think they do hold up. They're very well written books, and there's been a lot of dystopian books, and it is kind of the trailblazer. It's one of the better series, right?
I agree.
So a lot of people have been going nuts over this book, and I've been seeing it, and I kind of had lost a little bit of interest. I was like, it's been a long time. I don't really care. But then I saw more and more people posting about this book with tears down their cheeks, holding the book, bawling their eyes out, just like how amazing it was. I saw so many posts. I was like, okay, fine. I'll read this. And I'm like, the Kindle gives you a percentage. I'm like 40%.
Okay.
And it is very good. It is very good. I definitely love that. And then another book I was going to talk about, you may have this on your list, and if you do,
you're going to
chime
steal
in.
it from
If
me.
you don't- Okay, well, no, you can, no, then I'll wait. You talk about it when we get to your book section. I'll wait. But Sunrise on the Reaping, Suzanne Collins. Do you want to know a fun fact, Cassandra?
I do want to know a fun fact, Casey.
Suzanne Collins, author of The Hunger Games, also was a writer on Little Bear. Did you know this?
Really?
Does that make any sense? Absolutely not. Teenagers dying,
That's
and then like the most wholesome.
Random. Yeah.
It's so random, but like also in two incredible pieces of media.
Oh, absolutely.
Like she's a talented lady.
Wow.
But yeah, Sunrise on the Reaping. I recommend it so far. I haven't finished it, but so far, recommend it.
Do you have another book that you do want to recommend?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. We will wait. I will wait.
So I'm excited because I only want to beat you to this because I read it first. No,
You read it first.
I did read it first, which is shocking because Casey reads everything first.
No. I want you to talk about it. I'm gonna pop in, obviously, because we both love this book.
But wait, hold on. Before I start, I need to ask in front of everyone. Did you ever finish the Giver series?
No.
Girl,
I'm a piece of trash.
No.
I'm a piece.
No. Like, you should, though. Okay, after you finish this book. So, everyone, I'm sure, has heard, it's not a new book, The Giver by Lois Lowry. I love The Giver. I read it in high school as actually part of a reading assignment. It's actually part of a quartet of books. The middle two are fine, but the last book is beautiful, and I really want you to read it. And it's also kind of that dystopian fiction genre.
Oh yeah, it's a great book.
Really fantastic book. Very well written.
The Giver, yes, I will read the series, but The Giver also, I think, stands alone beautifully on its own.
Oh, absolutely.
Even. Like,
absolutely.
The ending sentence, I remember it vividly. It's great.
It's remarkable.
Anyway,
I've read it multiple times.
That's not the book we're going about.
That's not the book we're talking about. But you mentioned dystopian series, and I was like, wait a minute.
The Giver.
Okay.
The Giver is like the original dystopian. Actually,
it actually is.
It actually is.
Pretty old. So,
it's old.
I mean, if you haven't read it, I also feel that it very much holds up. So,
it does.
Highly recommend. So books, though, this is the book that I want to talk about. I want to talk about John Green in 2025. I'm so excited. I feel like it's 2008. Okay.
Oh, yeah. What a coincidence, because I want to talk about John Green.
I know. Okay. So a few things in the pieces of media that I'm going to be talking about now and then in the future are callbacks to, like, other older pieces of media that I feel like I grew up with and now are getting refreshed. So John Green.
Well, that's how the Hunger Games thing is.
It is, right? Isn't that so
funny.
bizarre?
Isn't that weird? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're just catering to us millennials / old Gen Zs. I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, so I don't know if anyone is super familiar with John and his brother Hank Green. They were some of the original YouTubers, but John Green is probably better known alone for his works of fiction. He wrote The Fault in Our Stars, which I don't I didn't love when I read it as a teenager. Sorry, I don't want to like hate. I think
okay.
it may feel different if I read it now as an adult, but John Green has written some books of nonfiction.
He has.
And the first one that he wrote, I will talk about later, actually, because that's the book that I'm almost done with. But the book that I really want to talk about, that I stole from Casey, is he just released, if you're not aware, he released a book called Everything is Tuberculosis, like this year, very recently. And it is basically like the story of tuberculosis, the number one most infectious disease that is curable. And it is really, really fascinating. And and I'll let you pipe in. But like the overview is that John and his family traveled and they met a young man with tuberculosis, and a lot of the book is interwoven, like the story of this young man that John Green met with TB, but also like history and just the stigma of the disease, the treatment, the science. It is so good, and it is really short. It's like 5 hours long of an audiobook.
Oh yeah,
but like
it's so good,
so well written,
so good. It really touches on like the inequality of this disease is curable, but people are still dying of it all the time that, don't have access to the cure. And it still remains, I guess, is it still the deadliest disease? I think COVID outtook it for like a while. And it's still the deadliest disease, and it is curable, which is an injustice, quite frankly, that this can be cured. And it was just about the healthcare system, about stigma, like you said, I really enjoyed when he touched on just the stigma of illness in general, the stigma of chronic illness. I mean, as someone with a chronic illness, it was extremely relatable, even though we don't have TB, but it was just, there were multiple moments I was just like, yes, preach, shouting from the rooftops, like people need to hear this. So it was just fantastic. He really, it's pretty short. He got to the point, but it gave a lot of history and a lot of insight. It was just, I totally recommend it. We both listened on audio of him. He reads it himself, which I think is a great touch. So yeah, that was the other book I was going to mention as well. I read it after Cassandra, and I think I enjoy John Green's nonfiction even more than his fiction. Although I did read Turtles All the Way Down last year, 2 years ago, and I did enjoy that as well. But I think he's just he's on a nonfiction kick right now, and I think it's like where he is meant to be, and I love it for him.
And for those of you that really love his works of fiction, no hate at all. They have like a fan following, like a true cult following. But I think that this is, I don't know, I really like his voice. Both his speaking voice, but also his writing voice. He's very poetic, but also very frank. I think it's really well done. And I'm so glad he's using his platform for something like this. I think that's very admirable.
And he talks about that at the end of the book. He does. He talks about that. I thought that was very meaningful at the end. It moved me when he was like, I have this megaphone and what am I going to do with it? And,
it's cool because he's also pretty open as a person with obsessive compulsive disorder that, focusing on bacteria and microbes, these are things that like ruminate in his brain. And so being able to like learn about something that kind of fired him up, but also kind of scratched that itch in his brain was like the perfect storm of something for him to just really dive into. And he recommended so many readings. I don't know if you heard through the very, very end where he recommended a bunch of like further reading. I'm like, he read all of those books to write this book.
He did his research. Wild. He knows more about tuberculosis than anybody.
No, right?
He's been using his platform to talk about TB for a while now. So the fact that he wrote a book just makes sense and logically for his career because he's an author.
So cool.
And then the other book.
Yes.
Are you reading it
now? Yes.
Yeah.
I'm almost done with it. So Casey had recommended, because I finished Everything is Tuberculosis, and I was like, wow, I really loved John Green as a nonfiction writer. And then you recommended his first nonfiction book to me called The Anthropocene Review. And it's really an interesting book because it's a little bit, it's like part kind of history geekiness, part like just, you know, marveling at the world and all of its fascinations, part autobiographical. And also, I feel like part in an homage to the pandemic era, because this book came out in, I want to say, like 2020.
I think 21.
2021.
Yeah.
A lot of, so the various chapters are really interesting because he just like picks a topic. It could be like
anything about the human condition or just anything.
Like something as benign as like Diet Dr. Pepper or humanity's capacity for wonder or his favorite band, the Mountain Goats. You know, like he goes in many, many different directions, but he wrote all the different chapters as kind of like reviews of whatever he's talking about. And at the end, he'll give it like, I give whatever 3 out of 5 stars. And it's really cute. But I think it's really neat because he wrote so much of it during COVID. And I feel like even now, as I'm kind of going back to the office 5 days a week, that era feels like it exists elsewhere. And hearing him have kind of memorialized, like, I don't remember the last time I was in a movie theater, and I don't know when the next time I will be again. I'm like, wow, that was a feeling we had. That was a feeling we had.
Yeah.
It was so wild. But don't let that put you off if you're
I was gonna say
traumatized by the pandemic.
Don't let that turn you off. It's not like about the pandemic inherently. It just
it's more than I expected. I definitely didn't, but just like know that that's there. I just kind of found that really fascinating and very like time capsule like. But the book itself is really lovely, and he's very like open about even just like some of his like life experiences within talking about something kind of random, and I like it. Yeah, it's a fun book.
I like it. Well, that is very fun. So we recommend all of those books. Next thing I have been into lately, I feel weird even saying this because I don't want it to be something that I'm like held accountable necessarily to do, and I think you'll feel a similar way. But I am learning Spanish just for fun. And I say just for fun because I am not claiming to, you know, become an expert. I'm not necessarily trying to be like super fluent. It would be great if I could be pretty good at it, but it's hard to learn another language. And so I am doing a few different things. I am on Duolingo. I think it's fun. I definitely don't think Duolingo, from what I've heard from people, is the only way. Like, I don't think that should be your only avenue to learn a new language. It's just a good, like, it can't hurt. It's just an extra tool.
Right.
But I'm using that. I'm also listening to a podcast that Cassandra recommended called Coffee Break Spanish, and they have different language, you know, Coffee Break French. They have it at other languages as well, and that's been really fun. I typically listen to like an episode a day. Lately, it's been more like every 3 days, but you know, I still am tuning into that. And then another thing I'm doing is I'm watching My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic in Spanish on YouTube, with the subtitles on in Spanish. And so I'm just doing all those things, just trying to have fun with it. I'm not putting pressure on myself. I'm not setting like goals or whatever necessarily. But, you know, having HPS and working in the HPS office, there is a lot of, you know, I have to deal with Spanish quite a lot in our email. I write our monthly emails and things like that. And of course, I have the professionals actually proofread it. I'm never going to be like on their level. And by professionals, I mean people who are like native speakers. But it still would be like somewhat helpful to know. So that is what I'm doing.
That's so cool. Yay. That's awesome. I am excited. And I think that, like, you know, you knew a good amount of vocab words, I think. And Duolingo is good for, like, vocab words. You can kind of get an idea of how to say specific, like, you know, articles of clothing. And I think that that's helpful. But it's probably not gonna make you fluent because it's just a little game, right? It's a little unnatural for a way to learn, but I'm not an expert. My mom taught Spanish, and so whenever people have asked me like, oh, I want to learn a language, like she had basically written out an explanation for me that I kind of just read and repeat to people. If you do want to learn a language, honestly, some of the best ways of doing it, according to my mom, an expert, or at least she used to teach it to various grade levels for many years, is just try to learn it like you would teach a baby how to speak a language. It's just
exactly,
it's a natural way for your brain to, like, I don't know, like take in new knowledge. You can listen to kids' songs, read kids' books if that's something that you have access to. And TV, especially like something that you're familiar with, because you probably know the story, but you're going to pick up on context. And one of my biggest recommendations is also, like you said, use the subtitles in the language that you are trying to learn. If you put on the subtitles in English, you're gonna read them. Like it's just
and
like
also like
nature.
It doesn't always perfectly translate, so that doesn't make much. You know,
It
it's
doesn't
like,
help. Yeah.
It's not going to be an exact translation all the time of every word. So, yeah. Like, and I think for me, they've all been kind of helpful in different ways. I do think Duolingo's helpful. I just don't think it's,
Yeah.
you need to
back it up
hear,
with something else.
you need to back it up, because I think you need to hear people speaking. And that's the only thing, you know, with something like that, like you need to hear people in conversation like a baby would, like you said, like, so yeah, I like all of it. And I've been having fun.
Yeah, no, it's
challenge.
so cool, because I think even when I've traveled and people have like learned either English or Spanish or another language, a lot of people have learned it through like music or TV, just from
a lot, yes,
purely exposure and
exactly the exposure
and immersion. And so like
that's what it is, truly.
It can really help. Like you just have to
That's
get
so
used to
true.
feeling a little bit uncomfortable, and it really like stretches your brain.
It does. But you're so right. Really just the exposure over and over and over through TV, music, that's really so helpful.
It's so helpful.
That's why I'm watching MLP, and it's been a fun
I
time.
think that's such a good idea, and I love that you picked
Do I
MLP
understand it?
too.
Hardly. But I'm having fun. And I understand more and more every time. So
that's like that is so rewarding on its own. Because, so my next thing is related in that I am probably a little less intentionally than you. I have on and off in my life tried to learn French. Ever since I was a kid, knowing that I was already bilingual, I was like, well, I want to learn French. And so
why
like
not
growing
add a
up,
third?
I know, right? We had like cassette tapes. I feel like we're dating ourselves, but we had like cassette tapes that we would play in the car with like French vocabulary word songs. I loved that cassette. It was so fun, and I still remember a lot of the vocab words.
Of course, because songs.
It's the songs. I know,
It's the
right?
songs.
So, and even like the library would have a little French class, or I went to like a day camp
Cute.
once that was themed,
Cute.
and we learned French and we did cooking. So it was just cute. But I just, when I was traveling recently, like I was like, you know what? Maybe I will kind of casually pick it up. Same as you, I'm not necessarily like trying to achieve any kind of goal. I think I at least just want to feel more comfortable hearing it.
Yes.
And yeah, coffee break podcasts are really good. It's this man and a woman, and they're Scottish actually, but they teach languages, and they kind of have and prompt you to repeat things. And it's helpful because sometimes they'll correct pronunciation, or they'll give like cultural notes, and they'll talk about
explain things.
It's really good. Yeah, right? Like they'll
Yes,
do like verb conjugations too, which is really important for you to know grammar at some point.
Oh yeah.
So I like that a lot. There's a Coffee Break French one that I'll listen to periodically. And then I'm also watching TV because I'm a big background watch girl. There's a show, I had mentioned it previously on this pod, but it's called Miraculous, the Tales of Ladybug and Cat Noir. That's the English version. It's the same in French, except just in French. But so like it's originally like a French cartoon, and I had watched it before with an English dub, which was good. But I decided, like, I guess if I should watch something French, maybe something that was originally French that I've also already seen. And it's sort of a formulaic show, so they'll repeat a lot of the same stuff, but like you said, like the more you do it, the more you understand, because there are parts where there are a lot of cognates, which is like words that sound the same or are pronounced similarly from one language to another. There's a lot of cognates with Spanish and French since they're both Romance languages, so I can like get the gist because I'm also a Spanish speaker, but they're like the pronunciation is so different sometimes that I'm like, what are they saying?
Yeah.
So like I'm lost for a little bit, and then like I'll plug back in, and I'm like, oh yeah, I got that. Okay, cool. So it's
I'm at this point where like I think this is pretty normal for people learning a new language. I can understand it way better than I could just speak it.
And that's what happens when like a parent. So like I know people that like speak Spanish and they spoke Spanish at home, but they never encouraged their kids to speak it back. So if you never speak it back, you're really never going to learn to speak it, but you will at least understand it.
Yeah,
so like,
which seems weird because you think, oh, if you can understand it, why can't you just speak it? But it's different because you have to come up with it out of the blue. Like I have to like make a sentence up in my mind, which is different than hearing something and being like, yeah, that sounds like this. Yeah. So that's what's hard for me. I don't think I could just,
it's a whole new level.
Right, that's a whole new level. Yeah.
And I
that's
think
exciting.
Like, it's fun. And I think like sometimes I try, because I'll just be at home. Sometimes I'll try to repeat phrases so that like it like makes sense, or like I can practice speaking a little bit. Because otherwise, I'll like literally never speak it. Right. Exactly. Up next on my list is also a TV show, and it's just a new TV show I've been watching that I really love. I have to give credit where credit is due. My boyfriend introduced me to this show, and I'm obsessed with it, and it's called Severance, and it's on Apple TV. I think everyone knows, at least has heard of Severance.
I'm obsessed. I'm not finished yet with season 2. There's only 2 seasons out now. There's a third one being made. It has been, I don't remember the last time I watched a show where I was like audibly gasping, screaming at the TV. And that's a fun feeling, when you're just like, what? And I am like full blown, like chewing my nail, just like on the edge of my seat. And, I'm really enjoying it. That's pretty much
Give
all
us a little synopsis for those of us that don't have Apple TV. Like me.
It's hard to describe. So it's kind of a bit of a psychological thriller, kind of, and it follows this man. It follows really this company. It's hard to describe. These people go through this operation where they quote unquote sever themselves, where they have 2 different conscious forms of consciousness. One of them is their work self, and one of them is their like daily life self. Mm-hmm. So their daily life self doesn't know what goes on at work, and their work self doesn't know what their personal life is like.
Ooh,
so like you could be married in your personal life, have kids, and your work life you wouldn't know. But people separate it. They choose this operation sometimes if like their work life is really bad and they don't want to deal, you just like go to work, but you're not really going to work. Or the main guy, this is not a spoiler, but his wife passed away, and his life is just really hard. So he severed so that during the work day, he wouldn't have to grieve, like essentially, because it's like your consciousness is split into 2. They call it their innie and their outie. So their outie is their like a real life self, and their innie is their work self.
Interesting.
And it's way more intense than that, though. Like so many secrets.
That sounds like, I mean, my brain is breaking trying to understand the premise. Like I get it, but I also have 1,000 questions.
Explaining it. It's very much, okay, I'll explain it like this. It's very much like Black Mirror, but long form and less disturbing. And it has disturbing moments,
pretty
but
good,
Black Mirror is like
actually, because I like Black Mirror, some of Black Mirror, but some of it really freaks me out.
It's a Black Mirror-ish concept. Like the whole show.
Yeah, right? I like the idea. That sounds really interesting.
Yes. I think you'd like it. I know.
I think I would. I don't
TV.
have Apple.
I don't either. I'm watching it with the boo.
That's see, I gotta get me a boyfriend with Apple. That's the key.
With Apple TV on the first date.
That's the do you have Apple TV? Because this is a deal breaker.
Just wondering, even though we have so many subscription services already that we even share, like we share multiple, it's crazy. But yeah, fun time. Love
that. The most recent new, it's not really new. The most recent TV show that it was new to me was that I decided to watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I love a sitcom.
Oh yeah, who doesn't?
There are some sitcoms I don't really like, but I love a sitcom, and Brooklyn Nine-Nine scratched that sitcom itch. And you know what? I enjoy police shows. Not like NCIS. Those are like too dramatic. I want a funny cop show, and that's exactly what this is. I think the characters are really well written. So it's the same writer of The Office, which I actually don't really care for. Don't come for me, but I love his other stuff because he also did The Good Place, and he did Man on the Inside with Ted Danson, which is newer, and it's sort of like a mystery, but it's very it's full of heart and really, really beautiful. Anyway, so Michael Schur created Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and the characters are just so much fun. They're very enjoyable. Especially
that's what I've heard people say. People love that show.
It's really like the lead guy is played by Andy Samberg, and he's just ridiculous and very just like a man boy. Like he's a very immature man, but he's kind of endearing that way. And then like the very like uptight police captain. And they have just this really great relationship. I love their relationship. It's one of my very favorites.
I love it.
It's really sweet. But it was just really enjoyable to watch. And I'm sad that I finished watching it over the course of a few months. But
I thought you were going to say a few days. It was like typical.
Well.
No, a few months. No, I haven't seen that one. But I've heard great things about it.
It's fun. It's a fun show.
Up next, this is something you inspired me to do. Matching PJs. Get on it. Oh my
gosh.
Get on it, people. Get on it.
Like, is it
game changer?
Money? Yes. So like if you're trying to save, like use the t-shirts that you've got, you know. But like
is it a necessity? No.
No.
Does it help me relax and sleep? I feel that it does. Like
I
feel that it does.
Looking cute in bed.
Looking cute. Sleeping
Who am I
is
looking
an occasion.
Cute for? Me.
Me. No, me. Same. Sleeping is an occasion.
Yes.
And we like dressing up. Like we like clothes. And I like feeling cute after a little shower at night. You get all cute. It just feel and like I'll still wear a t-shirt as well sometimes.
Sure.
But I have been loving like a matching. You kind of started me on this, and I know it's not like I feel like I'm acting like it's this crazy concept that people like don't know about. Like, guys, did you know you can buy pajama sets? Like, but you know, they're cute and they're fun, and I'm enjoying it.
They make me super happy. I just like
they make me happy.
I feel like a beautiful girl going to bed, and like
me too.
Nothing has changed except my matching pajamas, but
it's an occasion. It's a fairy tale. It's a princess. We love it.
I love it. Something that you had told me about. So actually, recently when we did our
all of these things are like, this is what you told me to do.
We influence each other.
We do all the time. We influence each other all the time. It's wild.
On our skincare episode, you had talked about using toner, and I was like, yes. I might check it out. Guys, I did check it out, and I love it.
Isn't it just, it's fantastic.
It's so nice. It's just like an extra layer of cleanliness. I feel so good whenever I can like cleanse and then tone. Oh
yes, it makes me feel so good. It makes my skin feel so like refreshed and clean.
I feel like I'm just like ready for any skincare treatments after that because I'm
yes, exactly. You are totally clean. I love that. Yes.
The other thing that you had mentioned on that episode that I also started doing more regularly since then is exfoliating.
Ooh, I love a good exfoliate. Yeah.
I have an exfoliant,
especially my nose.
And I had used it like on and off, but once you started saying that, I was like, I'm going to start doing that like once a week. And I do it once, maybe twice a week because you don't want to do it daily. Like it's pretty abrasive to exfoliate your face that often. But as someone with like oily skin, exfoliating feels so good. I feel like totally refreshed and like, wow. I'm so glad you told me about it.
This is not on my list, but I will just quickly interject that you also inspired me on that episode to wash my face twice a day instead of once a day. Game changer.
I'm so
Love
glad.
It. Living
I know.
life.
See, we only help our skin, each other's skin look better.
Better, and we do. Okay, my next one is music. I wanted to add music to this list, and I was having trouble. This year, 2025, like I know we're only halfway through. It has not been a year of music for me. Like nobody I like has released music. It's very sad, but I did find a new band that I like. Called they were recommended in an Instagram reel I saw for people that like kind of the Y2K dreamy pop music, which I love. Love that kind of music. So this band is called After. They only have an EP, and I believe it's self-titled, just After. But one of the songs on it is 300 Dreams, if you're trying to look for it, and the word after is like not, that's like kind of, I don't know if that would bring it up, because they're not a huge band. But it's like 5 songs on this EP. They describe themselves as trip pop.
Fun.
I've also heard them described as dream pop, Y2K inspired. Like, it feels like a Y2K summer. Very chilled out, kind of like Michelle Branch style, but like a little more chilled than that. It's right up my alley, and it takes me right back, and I love that type of music so much. It's very like soft pop, and chill, and I love it. I love every song on that album, and I really hope they release more, because like I said, it's just an EP actually. It's not a full album, but I hope they release more. I'm into it.
I love that. Okay, my music. Yeah. See, I had a couple things I actually wanted to mention earlier, but I just want to keep riffing off of you.
Do it, riff.
Okay.
Riff, girl, riff
so,
away.
Music. So, this is interesting. So, this band was like really big in like the early 2000s, if you were like an indie rocker. So, Franz Ferdinand, you've probably heard their song Take Me Out. It has over a billion streams. I didn't know they were still making music, but they are.
Shocking.
I don't know if they took it.
This is like the theme of this episode is like these things from our childhood that are bad.
They took a hiatus, so like I found them like in my life, right? They obviously existed much before that. I found them when I was in high school in the early 2010s, but I really enjoyed their style and their music. They released an album in January. I don't know like how long they took a break from music, but anyway, it's called The Human Fear, but it is a really cool album, and it feels it's kind of dancey, like somewhere between rock and dance, and it is like an enjoyable listen. I think a lot of the music I listen to, I think generally falls in a category of music that I can hyper focus to. This is music that I can hyper focus to. So like I can listen to it while I'm working, because it's not so catchy and distracting that I want to sing along, but it's not so slow and boring.
That's how this is. The one I recommended is just like that. Yes,
nice.
Like I'm not singing along, but we need to send each other.
We need to make another playlist.
Songs.
I think.
Are these albums? We should do that.
We usually do it in the spring.
And I have one other thing to say. I have one other things to say about music, but I don't want to interrupt. If you're
No,
not,
it's cool. I
you're
just
not
like there's a
done talking
song
about
on here
this.
that's called The Doctor, and I think it's hilarious. And it's like doctor, I don't basically like I don't want to leave the hospital. I'm still sick. And I think it's like a love
I've
song
been
or
there.
something, but I'm like, well, it cracks me up.
Hilarious. I love that. I love it. I have a confession to make, and I don't think I've made this confession to you. I'm gonna do it live on the
Okay,
podcast.
please.
Okay, so my boyfriend has Apple Music. That's also
Embarrassing. No,
it's not great. It's not great. Okay, I'm just kidding. But okay, so he'll often just have like a recommended playlist on, songs that are recommended to him or whatever on, and in the car. There has been, I'm not kidding. I may have already told you this.
I don't
so
think you
stop.
did.
There's been like 4 times, I'm not kidding, that this band has come on and I go, I really like this. And every time it's this band and I'm so ashamed that I like it. Every time I'm like, who is this? I like this. And then I'm like, oh no, it's the 1975.
Oh, I know.
Why are they good?
I know.
What happened? What? I didn't know that they were good.
Yeah.
This is Matty Healy. For those of you who don't know, like Taylor Swift's The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived. He's the smallest man who ever lived.
It's his
but like
band.
Good music, right? I'm like loving it. I'm like loving it. I'm like, what is this? It's the 1975.
Yeah.
It's happened like 3 or 4 times.
Yes, no.
And I'm ashamed.
This is
I'm ashamed
I
of
know.
it.
I
But
feel
they're
bad
good.
because I
They're
want
good.
to,
I
not
feel
that
bad.
anyone.
I want to hate him.
He's a horrible person. And like.
Right. He's the smallest man who ever lived.
He is the small. And like. I'll have like just finished listening to a Taylor Swift album. And Spotify's like auto playing. And I'm like cooking,
Yes.
so I can't do anything about it. And then
Yeah.
it's like Chappell Roan and Sabrina Carpenter and Lizzie
Love it, yeah.
McAlpine, and I'm like, fun,
Yeah.
this is fun. And then
Fun.
the 1975, I'm like, well, this is a
75.
bop. What is that? No,
I know. I'm like, this is a bop. It's like a fun summer bop.
It
And
is.
then I'm like, oh no.
It's awful.
Oh
I
no!
hate that.
It
It's
reminds me a
enjoyable.
little bit of the Torture Poets Department, like the style a little bit of the pop.
Yes,
There's a little
which
bit
means that the
TTPD.
Tortured Poets Department is truly a masterful work because she's kind of imitating
Because
his
she
style a little.
And I think she was. I think she really
I
was.
think she
people have
was.
said that. Like she was actually trying to. Yeah.
And I really liked the Tortured Poets
masterful.
Department. It's one of my very favorite Taylor Swift albums.
It's incredible. It's incredible. This album. I listen to it all the time.
It's
Never
so
gets old.
good.
But quite frankly, this man is the smallest man who ever lived, and I'm living for the music. I can't help it. I can't help it. I probably need to sit down and actually listen to one of their albums.
I'm, like,
'cause
scared,
This has all
too.
been just like a song. I'm scared. I
know. I'm
I don't
in
want
the
to give
same
him
boat.
a dime. But like it's good.
But, like,
every time it's been good. Different songs. It's not even the same song every time. I'm like, that's good. Every time. It's really depressing. It's depressing me to even talk about it. I think I'm next, even though I just went off on a tangent. Okay, so this is not going to be a super long-winded one, but at the HPS conference, if you heard our episode, which you totally should have, it was a great episode. I won a hula hooping contest at the HBS conference.
Yes.
Don't ask why there was. If you're listening to this out of context and you're like, why was there a hula hooping contest? We don't really know. But you should go listen
The
to the
context
episode.
doesn't really
But
help.
yeah, you're right. There is no context that could help you there. But I got home from said conference and I said, you know what? I'm going to buy a hula hoop because I work out from home. Cassandra's a gym girly, which we love to see. But I work out at home, and I have a few different ways of doing so. But it's fun to change it up. You know, you get bored doing the same workouts, and I got a hula hoop, and I've been having a lot of fun. I still do my other workouts too, but I'll just like hula hoop for like 30 minutes straight.
Wow.
You know, and it's fun.
That's
I enjoy it.
awesome.
It feels kind of like I'm dancing. Like I kind of get groovy with it. It kind of feels like a fun way to work out, and it's not too strenuous. Like I'm not so out of breath that I feel like you know, but it's like I am moving my body and getting my heart rate up
Yeah.
and my core.
That's fun.
My core is initiated. So yeah, that's been fun.
Love that.
I recommend it. Got it at Walmart.
Excellent. We love
Yeah,
a bargain.
Good old Walmart. Love a bargain.
Okay, guys. I have 2 things left on my list, and they are some of the things that I was like waiting the longest to talk about it. So for all of you that are still listening, I am throwing you a bone. I see you and I value you.
She sees you.
Okay.
We value you.
on the topic back when I like starting to work in the office, all right? One thing that I realized was that I'm not going to have as much time to cook. And it is like, I like to cook, for like full disclosure. I do.
Yeah, and you're good at it.
And I like to think I'm good at it too. And
you are. No, you are.
Thank you. So I bake a lot though. So especially for my side gig, which that's the next thing. Spoiler alert, but I will get to that after.
Stick around.
But I feel like I'm in the kitchen a lot, and sometimes because I'm often baking a lot, I don't always have time to like cook. So, and also
Right.
I live alone, so like I gotta do it all. And
Yeah.
my dad actually gets like all of the credit for this idea, because back when I had heard the news that I would be going back to the office full time at some point this year, like in January, my dad had a really great idea of like, oh, why don't you try like a meal kit service? And I was like, oh, I never considered that, you know? And when I first started working, like I did try to like do it all and try to meal prep or try to cook after work. And honestly, like it was just so much work by the time I was done.
Oh, yeah.
I was like eating at 8 p.m. and it was brutal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I decided to give it a shot. And I this is not sponsored, obviously, like y'all would have had an ad read. Okay. But,
Right.
I am doing meal kits through Home Chef. There were a lot of options. I researched, and this is the one I ended up going with. It had like good value, good variety, whatever. Okay, so I'm on my like second box. I decided to go with like each. You can get like meals that feed like more than like at least four people, but a lot of them feed like two, supposedly. So I get 3 meals per box that each feed 2. So basically at least 6 meals because I'm one girl.
Which is great. That's like all week.
It's like all week. And honestly, sometimes, I mean, I don't eat like that much. Like I don't starve, guys. I do eat, but like,
right. But you
I just don't have as big of an appetite. And so sometimes they'll even give me 3 meals.
Yeah.
And so as someone who eats the same thing for breakfast and also lunch, because it's convenient.
Same. It's literally same. Literally same.
Like it is so exciting, the variety, guys. I'm so excited because I wasn't sure how this was gonna go. Truly, like I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a try. It sounded good. So some of the meals you can get, I get like the quote unquote oven ready, which are nice because they don't involve like that much prep. You can kind of just like maybe mix something in a bowl and throw it in the oven, and then you're almost good to go. I also get the meal kits that are like slightly faster. So they say they take like 30 minutes or less. I'm slow, so they take a little longer for me. But you usually have to like chop something, like cut a potato or peel a carrot or something. Pretty minimal. Yeah. It's not that much extra work. But they're really good. Okay? Like
good.
I was wondering like, okay, is it going to be just like, but okay.
Yeah.
I also don't like to buy meat for myself because number one, it's really expensive, and number two, it's always like a lot of meat for just me.
Yes, that's so true.
So
it's really nice they've already portioned everything
and that's
out.
the thing, they've already portioned everything. That's so nice. It's like minimal food waste. It's a little bit more.
Well, also I remember you had like some cherry tomatoes in one of your meals or whatever. Yeah. And I was thinking, if you want to put cherry tomatoes in a meal, you oftentimes have to get the whole like thing. Box of them, the whole container of them, and then you don't even sometimes use all of them, and then so like to have the portions is really nice.
So like. So one of the meals I had in my first box, and like they're all like different meats that are they're really good quality meats too, which I find really impressive. So one of them was like this, it was like a sheet pan meal where like I cut up a potato and roasted it, and then I like put some chicken breasts in there with like that were covered in like cheese and mayo. Like they were good. They were like chicken sliders, right?
Oh,
or
sounds
chicken
good.
sandwiches, and they were really good because the pack of buns came with 2 buns, and I was like, this is beautiful. If I want to buy buns at the store, I have to buy like 8.
Yes. Isn't that right? Like bread.
Bread.
Is so hard to go through by myself.
Yes.
It's so hard.
And I guys,
So
I
hard.
legit still have buns in my freezer from like Labor Day last year, because I did a little
also
cookout
cook
with
for
my
one
friends.
and live alone, and it's totally hard
It's
to use
so
all your food.
hard.
It really is. It's hard.
It's really nice
Yeah,
though.
that's
Like the
great.
meats are really good. Like I like seafood, but again, like it's kind of hard to get smaller quantities of it. But I was able to make like a little shrimp linguine in my home chef meals, or like if you want to buy salmon, you have to buy a whole big bag of frozen salmon. But here I get like my 2 little chunks of salmon that are perfect for the meals. And it's ideal. Nice. And it's so good. I made one tonight. They were like pork tacos.
Ooh.
And they were delicious.
That sounds so good. It's so funny. We were talking about this last night, you and I. I had a dream last night about this. Like, I had a dream that I was using it and making things.
I mean,
so
I have a referral code for my friends. So let me know if you are interested in trying it. Casey, let me know. But,
okay.
you know, not a sponsored product. I'm mostly just saying that for Case's benefit and not for the pod. I want to clarify.
A dream or a premonition? We don't know.
But highly recommend.
That's very exciting. Very exciting. My next one is a prayer journal. So I help lead worship music at this Bible study. I've talked about it before. And we recently finished up our spring semester. We do it in semesters. And they gave me a little gift, and they gave me like a prayer journal thing.
So
and
cute.
it's like a book, and it's like the Psalms, but it has places for you to journal. It's one of those things. You know those things in life that you're like, I probably wouldn't have bought this for myself, or I wouldn't have thought to buy it, or even knew it existed, really. Like, I wouldn't have bought this for myself. But now that I have it, I'm using it, and I'm really enjoying it. I used to journal a lot more than I do now, and I've prayer journaled before, and I've been enjoying it. I use it every day, and it makes my spiritual, like, prayer time more intentional.
That's so
because I'm
nice.
kind of sitting down to do it, so I've been enjoying that a lot.
That's so nice. Yeah. Oh, I love that idea. That's awesome. Okay.
If you hear my dog,
My-
just ignore him.
I didn't even hear him.
Come on.
My last thing on my list is a little update on my side gig. If you guys have been here for some time or no, I have a little side business, because I work full time in the office.
In the office. You didn't know.
But I have a little side gig where I bake and sell tarts, and I used to sell them at a cafe back when I had more time actually working remotely, and I don't do that anymore, but I do still sell on commission. And so I've made some tarts for people's birthdays and whatnot, but this spring has been really exciting and special because I've had 2 friends that have gotten married, and they had both asked me, like, can you make tarts for my wedding? And I was like,
just so amazing.
wow, I'm super honored. I would love to.
So honored, yeah.
I am one girl, so I have to have parameters, right? I can't make 100 tarts myself. That is
that's too much.
a lot. But I can make 4 dozen max, right? Like, it's still kind of a lot, but I think it's a good amount that, along with, cakes and other desserts that the bride could choose to have from somewhere else, that this could be a fun little addition. So about a month ago, one of my friends got married, and I made some lemon lavender curd tarts, and then also some raspberry curd tarts for her wedding. And a lot of my friends were also there, and they told me that they were really yummy, which was just nice to hear.
They're so good. They're so good. Ugh.
And this weekend, actually, so by the time this episode is out, it'll have happened, but is the second wedding, and I'd committed to it before I knew that I was going to be working in the office full time, so it was like a little more of a tall order, but I'm like ahead, like I'm in a good place, so I'm not stressed about it at all. But it's like 3 different flavors. She's having a morning wedding, which is kind of neat. So, which also tracks because the couple are like super, super morning people, you know? But like she's having like a coffee cart and like a brunch
That's cute.
reception. It's really cute. And we're doing like chai custard tarts to kind of go with like the morning vibe. So like black tea and spices in a custard.
Oh, yummy.
And then we're doing like a lemon and blueberry swirl. So like lemon curd, blueberry curd.
Yeah.
And then just like another plain raspberry. And they get topped with like this vanilla whipped ganache stuff that is just kind of fun and easy to pipe, and it's really yummy. And I'm like super excited for this wedding also because, she's a good friend and I'm like really excited for her to get married, but it's like a really fun way for me to get to feel involved in a friend's wedding that isn't necessarily like being a bridesmaid, that I feel like I get to, show them love by also like making tarts for their weddings. And
yes.
It's so exciting. And also, just seeing people enjoy your food at a celebration and helping make it sweet is just like, it's so exciting. I will be a bit relieved when these are over because, they've been a lot of prep work, but but also it's been really nice because since I've been working at the office, guys, I'm working at the office.
She's working at the office.
I know. It's coming up so much in conversation. No, I'm sorry. But like, I really enjoy getting to have like a little creative outlet when I get home from like seeing people and talking and being social all day, that I get to kind of just have like a quiet time. I get to turn on an audiobook or music or a show or a movie and just get to do something creative. So it's super fun, and I'm really glad that I've gotten to do that and be part of my friends' celebrations.
Nice. I love it. It is a great creative outlet. Even though it is work, it's like creative. It's using that creative part of your brain. So
I
it's
agree.
Like not work.
If y'all want to follow me, I only make local stuff. I don't ship because they're a little fragile. But if y'all want to follow me on my little side gig Insta, I am at Tarts du Soleil. It is a French name. I am learning to pronounce it.
She is learning French.
It is TartsDuSoleil. So give me a little follow and you can see the things I bake.
Yes. Yeah, it's worth seeing. The photos are awesome. Thanks. So definitely give her a little follow. Give us a little follow if you haven't done that. Rare.with.flair.
Yeah.
We are on the gram.
Send us a little email. hello@rarewithflair.com. We love our listener emails. We read them on the pod if you want us to. And
we're also on YouTube now, Rare with Flair, so you can leave a comment on our specific episodes if you would like on the YouTubes. You can rate and review. I mean, we're basically kind of wrapping this up because I don't have
I'm done
anything
too.
else, so we're kind of wrapping this up. But you can rate and review on our. I think that was the best segue we've ever done with doing our little ending spiel here.
Yeah, right. Wow,
that was a pretty great segue.
We found a less abrupt way to finish an episode.
Yeah, So follow us on everything, and talk to us. We love hearing from you on Insta or email or YouTube. And this was so fun. I was having fun learning these things about you because we haven't even discussed.
No, right?
We were saving a lot of it.
And likewise,
for the pod,
and I think that the takeaways here are, number one, we influence each other about everything.
Yes.
And number two,
you work in the office.
I work in the office. And number 3, things from your youth can resurface in adulthood.
That is another good takeaway. Yeah, I like that. These may or may not help us figure out a title because we do not figure out titles before we record the episode. We do that after.
Love.
So yeah. maybe one of those will sneak their way into the title. If you're still listening at this time, we're giving you a little nod here if it's in the title.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
After
we'll be
we
in San
come-
Francisco.
After we come back from San Francisco.
After we come back.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.